How y'all doing today? This is the post Thanksgiving interview video, and in today's show, I'm going to be breaking down Obama's Breakfast Club interview, the Obama presidency in full view. I'm going to be breaking down Trump's presidency. I'm going to be breaking down the incoming presidency of Biden and Kamala. And I'm going to also give a context into this modern state that we've been in since the 9/11 incident, because that's where this all stems from. Maybe a little bit previously, but I might backtrack here and there, going back to certain things with King and things like that. But I want to give a overall geopolitical as well as domestic conceptual format into what's going on, so everybody understands exactly what it is. But I'm going to start with Obama. So this clown, man. All right, for people who don't understand him in his true essence and what he's done, I'm going to give you a brief conception about who he was previously, like who he was before he got into office, what he did while he was in office, what happened in office, and what happened after he left office. So let's start out before he got into office. So Obama was raised by his two CIA grandparents. You can go look that up. He was raised by his two CIA grandparents. He had a mother who was part of the Ford Foundation, Gamaliel Foundation um, apparatus, and he had a African father who abandoned him, and from Kenya. And so right then and there, it sets the how can we say predisposition for, as Dr. John Henry Clark called, the bastard child. Basically, go and look up Dr. John Henry Clark and look up mulatto trader, and it breaks down um, the historical construct of the confused group, the confused bastardized child who isn't loyal to either side, isn't accepted by one side, which is the white side, and isn't loyal to the other side, whereas based upon bad mother experience or bad father experience or bad group experience. So then they become the pawn to prove themselves to the group that they're trying to gain acceptance to, which they'll never gain acceptance to. So they're a wannabe, and ain't nothing worse than a wannabe, because he'll go overboard to try to fit in. And so you have that as the number one predisposition. So that's the first construct with him. Then we go into by the 80s and 90s, with him being recruited by the Trilateral Commission and Zbigniew Brzezinski and that whole apparatus. So, and then we go into the 2000s. In '04, that was his big spotlight when he said, "We don't have blue states and green states and red states and da 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 da. We're one United States." And they like that. They like that. That means that the ruling class can run the game from the cover of "We're all in this together," blah, nonsense. So it doesn't look like there's any faction split. So let's break down what happened to give you Obama in the first place. Remember, if everybody has amnesia, remember the Iraq and Afghanistan war were at its heights, and they were widely unpopular. The American people were against all of these imperial wars, and the 9/11 truth movement was in full swing. Remember, there was a 9/11 movement that was exposing that the ruling class was behind the terrorist attacks of 9/11. Remember that. There's books on this. Dr. Webster Tarpley wrote 9/11 Synthetic Terrorism Made in USA. He wrote, like, I think 6 or 7 editions that break down in detail the historical and current apparatus of how oligarchical powers, basically the ruling classes of every era, have done false flag attacks in order to push agendas or get things done that wouldn't have been gotten done if not under any sort of duress or panic, which is also what we're in right now with this pandemic junk. But that's another story for another day. So we have the two Iraq war, two imperial wars. Then the financial crisis happens, and that was not done by the low level low ranking, low small loan, subprime loan thing. It was done by the ruling class with the Wall Street banksters speculating on derivatives, on their buyings and sellings, and their absorptive bubble economy that they created, which was started with the repeal of Glass-Steagall and the deregulation of derivatives done by Bill Clinton and during the end of the Bill Clinton administration, which set up the preconditions that gave you the financial crisis. Because remember, before this, there were strict laws against all of these merging of insurance firms and I think mortgage firms, or the mortgage firms with a commercial bank and I think a commercial bank and a investment bank. Yeah, there was the strict there was strict laws against the commercial bank and investment bank, so you couldn't profit off of the people's um, earnings basically. But that was all, junk with the repeal of Glass-Steagall, and then the deregulation of derivatives gave the full swing of what we would have go '08. Now the cover story, of course, to make everything like it's an individual or it's a low level thing that happened, is to put it on the average day to day people. Say, oh no, it's the subprime mortgages, and they couldn't make their bills, and enough people couldn't make their bills, and that's what caused the collapse. No, no, that's the cover story. They always have to blame the bottom. Remember, this is race warfare, but this is also class warfare. Remember, the ruling class plays all of these things on the masses of the people. So that's what you got. And so at this time, hedge funds were in huge default. The banking cartels were in huge decline. They were in trouble. Remember all this. They were in trouble, and Bush bailed them out, and the people hated that junk. And Bush was widely hated, and then also the Katrina catastrophe too. So all of that momentum gave rise to an Obama that capitalized on that. And remember, a lot of us did not do our homework at that time. I can probably name one author who actually wrote two books before Obama got in office detailing what was to come, because he saw this shit coming a mile away. It's Dr. Webster Tarpley. I encourage y'all to read his two books, and it breaks down what was going to happen basically because of the people who were behind him, the money that he had gotten, and the people who were going to be in his cabinet. So it was not even just him. He was the personality that would sell the agenda to the masses, but the people behind him, the money interests, as well as the political interests, as well as the people who will write the bills and make the laws and push forth the apparatus, were the ones that he was targeting, who had been around for a long time. So and that's basically what you got once he first got in office. So let's set the stage for everybody who forgets, because the first thing people will say is, "Oh, it was the Republicans, this and that." That's the first thing they'll say. They'll be like, "Oh no, it was the Republicans that stopped them. It stopped them. And oh my God, that's the reason why you couldn't get the agenda passed." I'm like, fucking morons, bro. Y'all get me so hot when y'all say this stupid ass shit because you don't know, you're covering because you like the status and the symbolism. Oh shit, a nigga got in. I'm like, bro, we done had millions of kings and rulers who were did thousand times more great things than him, bro. I'm like, all over the world throughout history. That means that you need that more knowledge of self, and you need to get your self-esteem game right, man. Stop going for personality and go for substance. Stop going for superficial status and go for substance. Go for what they do, their soul. What's their merit? What are they doing based upon deed? So let me break it down. Remember, when he first got in office, he had both branches of Congress. He had the Senate and the House. Remember, the Democrats had took over. Then they got the presidency. Remember, and he had 89% approval rating as soon as he got in office. So, and the people were hella against the ruling class. Remember, the 1% was floating everywhere. The 1%, oh my God, the oligarchy, the plutocrat, the plutocracy, they're the ones in charge. Remember, that was the animus. Remember, that momentum, that wave was out there, and the people were begging for things to be done. The people were begging for an FDR style recovery where it's from the bottom up and not from the top down. The people were begging for that. They had demanded that. and that would have changed the whole game, bro. But that's not what happened. Remember, he lost his majority in the House first because of what he did with. He lost his majority in the House first because of what he did with him continuing the bailouts of the banking cartels and him pushing quantitative easing 1, 2, and 3. Remember, these were widely rejected. Nobody agreed with that shit except for the ruling class. And remember, the ruling class controls both parties, so that's why the shit got passed bipartisanly without any sort of pushback for real, because they control both sides. So, but I want to make this distinction within the Democratic Party. There has always been a Wall Street Democrat element, which means those are the puppets of the ruling class, basically, and then a populist element that's the masses of the people. It's not really formulated in any real candidates. You saw it somewhat in Bernie, but not even. But it's always been in the masses of the people who have the know-how, have the energy, and also have the knowledge of self, and have the historical memory, and have the political acumen to understand the entire political process, and on top of that, understand the historical construct and the policies enacted that can bring about the right grassroots approach to making sure that the people who need the most things are given the most things, basically. So so we go to his first 4 years in office. We're gonna start with that shit. So he bails out the banksters. He continues Bush's bailouts, widely unpopular, and then he continues imperial wars. And not only does he continue the imperial wars, he expands on the imperial wars. You got U.S. AFRICOM, so now you got bases all over Africa. You got the attacks in the Middle East now. Now Syria's being attacked. Now Iran's being geopolitically swayed. Now they made the deal so they can try to turn Iran against Russia and China. They now do the drone strikes in Pakistan. They do the stuff in Ukraine. Eventually, the economic warfare in Venezuela. Uh, just the color revolutions in Russia and China that didn't go nowhere, but they tried to push it. So the tension with North Korea, like, so you saw an expanding of imperial wars under his administration, man. And so that was a huge drawback. Oh yeah, and did I forget about the destruction of Libya, and the color revolution, U.S. Africa, and the color revolutions all over the Middle East and Africa. So when I say color revolution, that's basically the CIA's Trojan horse apparatus, which means they'll have a massive dupes, people who don't know what's going on. They'll use them as the prop, like, and then they'll flash them up on all their media cartels. Look, oh my God, the people want it. Then the people want a new change, and then behind the scenes, they're the ones enacting all the power moves, and they're overthrowing the the established power in order to get a more favorable regime that won't challenge their hegemony as frequent. So that was what was going on, and then you saw the breakup of certain nation states, like so from Sudan to South Sudan. That was the Bernard Lewis plan, which means they wanted to break up the modern nation state more and more so that they can get an easier uh, power dynamic, so they can get more things done without any drawback again. So all that. It's all that once again. More ways to gain more power. If I want to just simplify it basically. So you have that, and so that was in his first administration. Then not only did he do that, he tried to cut the social safety net. Remember, he said it before his campaign and during his campaign, and right when he got in office, he's a new Democrat. New Democrat, aka, means that you are a Republican in Democratic clothing, and you're going to cut the social safety net, which was against which is your anti-FDR, your anti-New Deal, your anti for the everyday people. You're a 1% Wall Street bankster puppet. So that's what New Democrat, and it was coined during, I think, the Bill Clinton era. So Bill Clinton basically called himself a New Democrat, which he was, and so that's what you saw. So you had all of that. So you had that, and so yeah, and so you got the cutting of the payroll tax. He started messing with. He used the sequester, the grand bargain, to try to cut the payroll tax, and I think he kind of did, honestly, with the Republicans, and they got some stuff done. He didn't raise the minimum wage at all. Remember he has the Congress for his first 2 years of office, and remember your first 100 days show you what you're going to do. Remember FDR in his first 100 days was passing just economic stuff for the people. You got a whole new, basically, uh, chain of social programs within your first 100 days. You got the Public Works Administration, the PWA, the WPA. You got the whole infrastructure part. You got a whole litany of things in order to get the people back working at a wage that would provide them the economic means to go move forward. So that's what you got. And then on top of that, he passed laws that the masses of the people really didn't want. That was more for the elite, liberal, left wing, left guard people. I'm talking about the weirdo junk, the LGBT now PZ thing that's pushing out right now. Remember, that was for the left wing. Remember, I'm trying to tell you, Obama been knew about the Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and Prince Andrew stuff. The FBI knew about it. So you don't think he's been debriefed on that? Remember, he's a ruling class puppet. He does their bidding. He's the left wing version of that. Remember, there's they're both the same ruling class, but they have to change the face. So so the right wing version might be a Trump type, but he still does stuff that the ruling class uh, needs done. You have the left wing version, which is the Obama type, which is the Joe Biden type. But the left wing version, they like a little more cover. So they'll throw in a Kamala. They'll try to, you know what I'm saying? They'll use a little more cultural nuance, so it seems hip and new. So you don't so you go for the status. Oh shit! Look at the first da da da. But behind the scenes, they're enacting all policies that are gonna roll us back economically, back to the damn Stone Ages, and it's strategic too. It's the old Trojan horse, basically, the old bait and switch. So we go into that. Remember, the destruction of Libya happened under his watch. The bombing of NATO, or bombing by NATO, and the whole color revolution thing, and putting in their proxy warfare groups in order to destabilize and break Libya up into three pieces. Remember, Libya is now three pieces now, and it's a failed state, and now it's an overt slave state where they're now selling slaves now overtly. I got some information from back in the early '90s. I think that was always a sort of a covert enslavement area, that in Mauritania. But now, it's more overt. It's way more overt, and you can thank Obese for that. It's so much stuff, and don't give me, oh, he was under pressure, and oh, he could have been assassinated, bro. Then don't take the fucking job, and don't stand up and claim to have and be the man in charge. If you're the commander in chief, you show balls. You don't back down when your life is on the line. Nigga, your life could be on the line eating a bowl of soup. What the fuck? Nigga, you stand up like a man. That's what manhood is. See, all you pussy ass motherfuckers and the women and all the motherfuckers who co-sign this shit, y'all don't know real manhood because you've already submitted. It's not, we ain't never submitted to no evil, man. What the fuck? We challenge that shit on a daily basis. Our mere existence in this world is a challenge to evil because we're the opposite of the shit. We're in direct contrast to that shit. So back to the amendment, back to Obama. So I broke down his first presidency. Then we go to the second one, and how we get the black stuff. Trayvon had happened towards the end of his first administration into his second administration, and then you got Ferguson, you got Baltimore, you got Alton Sterling, Fernando Castillo, Sandra Bland, Eric Garner. The list is so many, bro, under his watch. And remember his response to all of these things: a passive negligence, and then with Baltimore, an active anger against the youth who actually stood up strong and stood up against the beast. He he went so far as to first use Trayvon as a damn political prop and not do anything to enact charges, which set the whole genocide campaign in full motion. Remember, if you go hard in the paint, you say, "Hey, man," even I'll be honest with you, even Eisenhower and JFK, who didn't give a damn, at least sent troops when things were in the disturbance. Eisenhower sent troops when things were in the disturbance, and Eisenhower even said himself, "I don't give a fuck about that shit." But it's the letter of the law. You know what I'm saying? The letter of the law says if somebody's getting fucking killed, if a young man, it's a kid, is getting killed by a grown man, that's a fucking murder, and that person needs to be pressed hard to make sure that shit doesn't happen. When you set a precedent that allows that to go on, you're setting a horrible example, and you're setting a demonic example that says I'm cool with that shit. And he was cool with that shit. And he was so much so cool, he passed laws to give more protection to the murderers who were doing the murders, aka the hitmen cops with badges, basically. He set the blue laws in motion. He was the one who passed that. I think passed it by executive order. For all y'all that don't, hey, he can't do nothing. No, he can do a lot. He does not want to do anything for you because he don't give a damn about you. So we get all the police genocide. Then he called the youth who were protesting in Baltimore, standing up strong. Oh, those thugs, da da da. He sounded like his CIA grandparents, basically. So that lets you know exactly where he stands. So we go imperial wars, not doing shit against, not doing nothing for black people, but then also protecting the white supremacists against black people. His negligence, him acting like he can't put his Justice Department to work to make sure that none of the people in charge who were doing this get charged at all. He didn't do any of that. So look at all this. Look at all of this shit. Come on, man. What is there else to contend with, man? I just named you imperial wars abroad, U.S. Africa. I'm all over recolonizing Africa. The economic downturn, which means all you did was you just changed the wealth gap, the wealth dynamic. So more power went to the 1%, and less power went to the people, and that means, and specifically, it even made us get hit even worse. Black people specifically get hit even worse. The housing crisis blew us out of the water, and then the wealth blew us out, blew us back too. That's two things. Then you put a spotlight where damn near it's like Jim Crow style lynchings happening, and then you set the apparatus up. Whereas you didn't do anything for the masses of the people, and you continue imperial wars, you set the precondition up for a Trump. He opened the gates to a Trump, basically. And you're saying, okay, he can't do anything specifically for this or that group. Yes, he can. He did things with 3 laws for LGBT, PZ, when the masses of the people didn't want that shit. What the fuck? Most of the people want to have strong families. They want to build man, woman, and then the child, and then that continues on and on and on. What the fuck? The other shit is depopulation. That's genocide. That only helps the ruling class elites in the Hollywood circles who own that weirdo shit. So you have that dichotomy. Then you add in the Equal Pay Act for white women. White women didn't get you to vote. Black women, I mean, black people, black men and women are the ones who were the overwhelming force that got you 2 terms. Without them, you don't get 2 terms. You lose to Romney, bro. That election was close as shit. Without the black vote, you don't beat Romney, my G. So that's a fact. So there you go. And then what was the third one? You even gave half-hearted dreamers for the immigrants. People who before weren't even citizens of the country. You made sure that they got a stake here, but nothing for black people who were demanding things, especially towards the end of your second term. Especially with even just charging people who were committing murders and overtly on a genocide campaign against us. So you set the preconditions up for a Trump, and it's clear as day, man. It's clear as day. It's just anybody who don't know, who don't see it, just want to protect them. That's it, man. Based upon status. That's pretty much it, man. And I told you, read those 2 books, man. Get acclimated to learning things outside of what is being propagated and indoctrinated into you in order for you to move forward the way they want you to move forward. So that's him. Now let's go to Trump. Remember, Obama used the left wing cover and black masses' naivete in order to get elected. He used symbolic cultural symbolism, like, oh, let me get my dirt off my shoulder, and yeah, I play basketball and shit like that. And I listen to hip hop, and I know Jay-Z. He used that cultural nonsense, which had nothing to do with substance. It had nothing to do with economics. It had nothing to do with political policy. We don't give a damn about no damn cultural bullshit. It's about economic empowerment. It's about economic populism, not cultural populism. That's what people get confused. There's two different. There's two forms. There's cultural populism and economic populism. We need economic populism. That's the FDR style of doing things, man. We needed that. And everybody's like, well, how could he have paid for all this and that? Same way how he got it from the Federal Reserve and from the bailouts. He got the bailouts from taxpayer money, and nobody had a problem with that shit. That same taxpayer money could have went to the people instead of the banking cartels, especially the ones at the bottom of the barrel who needed it the most, who were put up in tents basically and living homelessness or living at the poverty line or living day to day. So we got that dynamic, and then you add on top of it the situation with the Federal Reserve and them constantly giving trillions, bro, trillions to these banks, man, and hedge funds across the spectrum, man. I'm like, and they continuously get it, all bipartisanly, undercover, whether it's Republican or Democrat. They got it through all three administrations, Bush's, Obama's, and Trump's, and they'll get it under Biden's, and nobody's even calling that shit out. It's completely going under the radar, and so we get all that, and so now we go into Trump. Trump used right wing cultural populism the same way Obama used left wing cultural populism. So instead of the black thing, Trump used the right wing white thing, and he appealed to the racist, uh, cultural racist on all levels in order to get elected. And some economic talk, some manufacturing, this and that, some economic and populist talk. But when it came to rural policies, his policies were hardcore right wing. His policy, as far as as far as economics, he basically gave a tax break to those at the top of the 1%. Basically, he protected them even more. He would give some rhetoric. That's why they really didn't like him. He would say rhetoric that would show some of the hand of what the ruling class was about. But when it came to policy, he did pretty much what the ruling class wanted him to do as far as policy. The only thing he hasn't done as far as like the big thing is the vaccine thing, because that's more of the left wing. When it came to economic populist stuff, he bailed them out. He gave them the bailouts. He pushed the Federal Reserve money through. So he was doing a lot of that shit. He didn't raise the minimum wage. Like, he was doing a lot of that. So yeah, so that's his administration basically. And of course we know the racist shit that he pushed and all the other stuff. But one positive that he did do is he forced us to have to come together because he was so overtly racist and hateful. It forced us to have to look inward more, and that culminated with us on code for about a good month, from June until the left wing started doing the divide and conquer thing again. And the celebrity class started using their puppet boule role to get us back on the plantation. So, but for about a month, we were on code, man. Black men and black women during the height of the George Floyd uprising. That was a good time to see, man. Just us together, we was doing it big. I wish we had that back right now. I hope we learn from that and go forward into that when it comes to 2021 and forever, honestly. Because we need to counter the destruction of the traditional black family structure, which is the agenda all the way through. And why is that the agenda, you may ask? Because during the height of the civil rights era, when we were giving it to the Anglo American ruling class, we were all on code. Like a motherfucker. Leadership all the way down, we were all on code and we were giving it to their ass. And we almost put the U.S. on their knees. We almost had we damn sure, especially with 68, when after King died, and we would lit this bitch on fire and we was giving it to the masses. We had the capacity to take over this nation, bro. and that was men, women, and children. So right after '68, you saw what the ruling class's counter reaction to that was, flooding it with the immigration, deindustrialization movement, taking out the trades and all the ways, the skills that pay the bills, the crack era, the crack, the negative music, the negative movies, black exploitation films, the negative propagation in the media, and mass incarceration, imprisonment, and also the negative images of the black male. And on top of that, creating a dichotomy and split with the feminist movement in order to make it a man versus woman thing. So your woman won't be fighting with you, she'll be fighting against you on the side of the oppressor class. And confusing the youth with drugs and sex and the counterculture. So yeah, the real guys knew what they was doing. They knew what the apparatus was. They played a good hand, and of course the assassinations of all our leaders who actually gave a fuck. And then the counter weight of putting in the puppets who are loyal to them and not loyal to God and loyal to the movement and us getting that mayat that we need and deserve. So yeah, but the good thing about all this right now is we know what's going on, we know what's happened, and now we can move forward and start to build everything back up and take over and get it to where it needs to go, man. Get that Maya that we deserve. And I strongly believe that. You know what I'm saying? Just looking at it strategically, and I see the wave. It's not going nowhere. Even though they won the battle when they got Lunch Bucket Joe and well, let me call him Jim Crow Joe and Kamala lock up black mothers and break the record for locking up black men in California, and then bail out the 1% puppets in California and don't do anything about the pedophilia in California that's getting passed right now, Harris. So yeah, they'll do shit there, and then don't release the innocent man who didn't do that thing, based and didn't even put in the DNA evidence. I think his name was Kevin something back in California. I forgot his name, but y'all can look that up. And she didn't do anything about that guy who was innocent and had to serve so many of those years in jail. And the DNA evidence showed that he didn't even do any of the crimes, and she refused to do anything about that. So that's who you got. But like I said, man, but we're here right now, man. All this shit's happening. Yeah, we're still here. Still able to smile. Still able to eat. Still able to make real money. Still able to have the willpower to push forward. Because guess what? As demonic and shit is, and as crazy as shit's happening, motherfuckers getting killed left and right and shit like that, and 5 busting like it ain't no tomorrow, we still have the power to challenge and counter and defeat all of that. We're unlimited. We're limitless. It's unstoppable, man. I swear to God. When we get that, when we're in the fucking zone, they can't touch us. When we're united as a united front and we're on code, no matter if we don't like each other, this and that, but we understand the code, we are unstoppable. That means the men, the elders, the women, the children, as a united front, we are unstoppable. Don't give a damn about if you. The only thing I say is keep the coons and bad wenches out the mix. Keep the dark skinned and crackers out the mix, man. That's it. Everybody who don't put their blackness first, keep them out the mix. That's it. That's pretty much it. And shout out to the FBA movement as well, man. That really put a lot of stuff in order. But we have to go beyond just the bloodline thing and shit like that. We got to go to a soul thing. It's not just blood or a mindset. It's a soul. It's a meiotic thing. It's beyond just some superficial, stereotypical thing. Like, hey, can you remember the Jackson 5 album? Do you know the Thriller album? Back and forth. I'm like, what the fuck? Anybody could do that. I'm like, that's some superficial nonsense. No, it's about substance. It's about the soul. And only a certain few people get that. So yeah, and that's what we need to move into, because the soul it'll never be corrupted when it's true. It can never be taken down. It'll always win through, even when it looks bleak. It'll catch that second win in the 10th round and knock them out basically, because it's uncompromising. It's unstoppable. So I just want to give my quick 2 cents on what I see going forward with the Kamala Harris, Lunch Bucket Joe, thing. So look out. I'm gonna just say domestically. Domestically, they're going to be pushing all the buffer class groups to continue to stop this FBA wave and this Black Power wave that's on the march right now. They're going to be using coon niggas and the women who are off code to push the agenda through in the boule niggas and the buffer class groups. And they're going to be pushing LGBTZ, PZ, and all this pedophilia bullshit to get the ruling class off the hook, who is hella involved in the Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell pedophile rings, as well as the Catholic Church rings and all these other little demonic pedophile rings that are across the spectrum at the ruling class level. And we all know this shit. But yet, too many people are going along with Bill Gates's deadly vaccines. I'm like, this nigga was involved with Epstein. He should be under hella charges. He should be the spotlight on everybody's radar every day. There should be a petition demanding that he goes to jail for life and the death penalty. And he has to take those deadly ass vaccines, you know what I'm saying? As a punishment. So yeah, man, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck are we doing, man? What are we doing? Why are we I wanna understand, why are we so lackluster right now? We need to be stronger, man. We need to have that Khalid Muhammad mindset right now. Harder than anything ever before. We need to have that right now more than ever. For real. Like, that's what's gonna win us today. And that's real, man. So let me get back to breaking down this lunch bucket Joe and Kamala presidency. So they're gonna use the buffer class groups as cover so that they can run the agenda for the ruling class. They might try to cut the social safety net. We gotta look out for that. But in the meantime, what we need to do is we need our own political party so we can start electing our own grassroots people, our own grassroots candidates, putting the money up for them. You know what I'm saying? Getting communities in order, building up the economics as well, the banks, the houses, counter the gentrification across the board, and then buying up land in independent areas so we can have new communities on top of the communities that we already have. So save the old ones, build the new ones at the same time. So we have a two-front attack against the ruling class's apparatus. So, you know what I'm saying? There you go. And then at the same time, build protection units, self-defense units, community resistance units who are on code and are countering all the things that are going on. And then further the push for the defunding of the police, because yeah, they need to be defunded, man. Program they are unlawful right now. And we need to get back to community policing and community organizing on our own. We need to get our communities in order on our own, honestly. Real rap, man. And get all and clean it up ourselves so we can get everything back in order. Get the family structure back in order. Alpha males with effeminized, true Coretta, Sherazade Ali type females, and then have the youth following that true example. Instead of them being corrupted by thoughts like Stallion and Cardi B and lame, feminized rappers like Drake and this mumble rap trash on Percocets and all this little stupid ass shit. Zanny bar, stupid suck ass shit. This lame ass shit, man. Oh man. And them boys, what the ruling class did strategically is they infused this punk rock gothic sound into hip hop under the nose. Like when you hear it, you're like, what the fuck is this? It's punk rock and gothic, but they just infused it in the hip hop, and it's demonic basically. It's a demonic sound on a fucking loop reel. This shit, none of this shit is positive. When you hear this shit, the only person who's positive is really Cole and the conscious rappers, and that's real shit. Or the older rappers who are now speaking about black empowerment. The female rap ain't positive. They talking thought shit. That's not positive, man. Not talking about building the family back up, or how much I love my man, or I love my family, or let me make sure that everybody's right, things like that. They speaking on thought shit, and they won't like that's gonna be a backlash on them. They're gonna get the full brunt of it because real dudes ain't fucking with no damn thought who's gonna try to scam them and set them up and all the type of sucker shit. What the fuck? We see that coming a mile away, and the real women don't need to even be talking about protect us because they'll protect them automatically. Real men protect their mothers, their grandmothers, their aunts, their sisters, their girlfriends, their wives. You know what I'm saying? Their female friends. That's automatic. we don't. You don't need to say no shit like that. We don't even need to brag about shit like that. You feel me? Like I have a whole bunch of stories of shit that I've done. I don't need to go on camera and be like, hey, today I walked a woman to her car and it was dark and she was drunk and da 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 and I didn't take advantage of her. I'm like, I don't need to brag about no shit like that. Or it was a dude harassing her and I stepped in and checked dude and now she and her friends were cool. We don't need, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't need to say no shit like that because it's automatic. It's automatic. So, yeah, I'm going on my tangent, but now let me backtrack to the administration. So, what you can expect is imperial wars with the left wing swing to it. Um, More shit going on in the U.S. Destabilizations in the South America. Still trying to finagle the Middle East, and them trying to disrupt and co-op Russia and China. And now Russia and China have now made themselves imperialists, basically, with their bullshit that they've done, basically, with Putin doing his entanglements in the U.S., basically, with Trump and shit. That messed up Putin's whole whole get back because he actually had a positive image up until about 2015 when he was countering the U.S.'s agenda in Ukraine, when he helped out Iraq and he helped out Syria. He was looking like a real good statesman. Then he started going left, and now he looks like just a do boy for white supremacy, and he looks like a imperialist himself. And then China, now they've shown their hand as being nothing more than an imperialist themselves. So all their satraps and debt traps on to colonize Africa and the Caribbean as well, and now South and Central America. Like, so what we need to do right now is honestly, we need to organize on all fronts. We need to have an economic empowerment organization that can empower each other on every level. So, like I said, old and new communities and Black boys need to be saved. We need to take over the politics and get people who enact agendas on all three levels: local, state, county, and then federal. So, and then go beyond that into regional. So, north, so the northern parts of Canada, southern part of Mexico, link up with those people, black people who are on code in those areas and in Canada, link up with those in South America who are on code and build an economic base, and those in Caribbean who are on code and build an economic base and keep the coons and the ops out the mix, and then in Africa as well, and then as well as in Europe and in Asia and in the Pacific and all over the world. Those who are on code with us, we are on code with them. When we create a block with economics as well as with protection, as well as with military force, like for real. So that's the agenda, and staying on code and building traditional black family structures again, building strong communities again. As Dr. John Henry Clark talked about it before, how he said Harlem used to be, or how he said black towns used to be. They used to say hello, used to be polite. You could walk a woman down the street and on a date and not even have to spend $1 because it was about the substance, not about the status. Like we need all of that back, man. We need the substance back because right now what's being pushed is we're at the gates right now, and what you can expect is agenda after agenda, spin after spin, Trojan horse after Trojan horse. What you can expect is more white supremacists running around like gangsters and neo Nazis trying to attack teens and women and men and shit like that. And we need to counter all that, man. We need to counter it, man. For real. We need a man to fuck up on all levels. On all levels. The music needs to be better. The movies need to be better. The whole reality spectrum needs to be better, and it can be better, and it will be better. We just need to push on that every day, and keep those who are negative out of the mix. That's it. Keep the ones who don't believe in. Oh, what can we do? Okay, if you already feel you're already weak, you already gave up. Okay, stay your ass right there, bro. Stay your ass in the bed and wait for them to come and get you, bro. All right. Wait for the boogie monster to get you and shit. But if you give a fuck and you got the balls to push forward and move on a front and find like-minded people, find like soul people, beyond even the Bible, find like soul people. That's where it's gonna start. Because any information, you can gain any sort of knowledge, man. You can gain any knowledge. Anybody could be a fucking genius, man. Anybody. You can gain that knowledge. But the soul is forever. That's pure. If you got that soul, you're good regardless. You got that heart, you're good regardless. You're gonna get everything after that. You're gonna move in that. You're gonna automatically get the knowledge because you're just gonna flow into that. Because the energy attracts automatically, man. So that's what we need, man. The soul. We need the substance. We need a mayat. We need a mayatic world. We need to get rid of this evil world that's plagued us for way too long. It's way too much bullshit evil, and I guarantee we gonna have that shit. I'm on my Joe Namath shit right now. I guarantee we gonna have a world restored to its rightful place with the rightful rulers, on code black gods with on code black goddesses, with a knowledge of self, a soul based in a meiotic system that provides for all those other people who are in a meiotic state and punishes those that are off code and who are on some demonic shit. That's what we're gonna get. And we're gonna make sure that shit happens. We're gonna have a truth world. Because we're in a world of lies. That's real. We're in a world of lies. White supremacy is a lie. And that needs to be destroyed. Wannabe white supremacy is an ultra lie. Black cooning is a lie. Bedwinching is a lie. These are all lies that need to be defeated and destroyed. The traditional black family structure, that's the truth right there. Mayat is the truth. Black greatness, us ruling the world, that's truth. That's what we've always been. Hell, you get back to these last 500-600 years. Remember, before that time, even during that time, we still had kingdoms that were still prosperous as fuck. You know what I'm saying? It just really, honestly, the whole white supremacy thing is really only 100, 200 years old. Because even during when it was trying to get itself established, it was still under heavy attack. It was still under heavy counterbalance, countervalence. There was a certain time period where they thought that they might not even get it, but too much submitting and too much passivity on our part gave them the momentum to finally consolidate it. But now it's under heavy attack right now. Where it hasn't been since the 50s and 60s. This is the most attack it's been under since the 50s and 60s. And they know it. Now we need to, that energy that we have, now it needs to be organized. The momentum needs to be consolidated into into a real manifestation, an economic manifestation, a political manifestation, an organizational manifestation, a protection manifestation, and a family unit manifestation that can counter all of their bullshit, all of their agendas that they're pushing on us in order to have us under a genocide campaign and have us under a black holocaust. We need to end the black holocaust, end this war against us, and finally live free, finally be who we are, as God meant us to be gods and goddesses on this planet, have heaven on earth. And I ain't talking Rush Hour 2, heaven on earth, massage parlor. No. I'm talking a real manifested heaven on earth for us, and I believe that shit. You can look into my eyes and tell me I believe that shit. I ain't bullshit. There ain't no sucker shit on me when I'm just saying rhetoric. This is a fact. So I'm just gonna leave it off like that. It's a hard time. Ain't nothing stopping us. Nobody can stop us when we're on code. Look at we saw it for 1 month. Look how on code we were, and the whole fucking world was shook. For just black men and black women on code for 1 month. 1 month before they decided to bring back NBA, NFL, Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, Will Smith entanglement, WAP song, and then the cuties. Before they started to do the divide and conquer shit, and as the celebrity class has always been the puppeteers for, we were on code like a mug. And remember, during that month, this whole celebrity class stood down. They were as quiet as a mouse. Even Layla on Ism Radio was talking about that. She brought it up when she was talking about that girl. What's her name? The girl who's on Wildin' Out. B Simone. She was talking when B Simone was like, "Oh, I'm a Christian," and da da da. When she started lying about why she ain't speaking on empowerment. You ain't no damn Christian because you be busting it open to talk about how good you can suck and fuck. I'm like, oh man, you a thought. It's just like that damn Suki chick. When the WAP song got criticized because it was a white flag telling the ruling class, hey, our WAP is the white flag. Hey, we don't want no parts. We'll just submit for the coin. Which is so atrocious. You submit for the coin? Dumbass. That's weakness. That's not strength. You're not empowered. That's disempowerment. But yeah, I digress. So I'm just gonna end it off like, man, keep the coons and the sellouts out the mix. Keep the people who put everything above their blackness out of the mix. You put your individualism above your blackness, you're an op. You put your economic standing above your blackness, you're an op. Your class standing, your college standing, your gender, your I don't know, sexuality, your religion, whatever fuck, whatever it is, whatever you put, if you put anything above your blackness, your geographic location, if you're from whatever uh, geopolitical dominated foreign construct that you like to rep. I'm talking about all the foreign flag niggas that love to rep a flag that's ruled by another imperial power that you know of because y'all niggas are on some caste system shit. That's an op. And that goes for the domestic coons too. If you put your economic shit, your boule or your celebrity status above your whatever, or your degree status above your blackness, you're fucking op. We don't got no time for you, man. You put your color tone above your blackness, you're op, my G. We don't need that. We need substance and we need on code black people who are consistent. It's not about a one time thing. It's not about, oh shit, yeah, I'm gonna black it out on Instagram for a day. I'm gonna go out and put a protest sign up. To keep it 1,000, the real niggas wasn't really protesting. We was in the leer trying to get shit done. We still trying to get shit done, man. You know what I'm saying? That's by whatever means. You can take it how you want to take it, 5 What's up? Because I'm really like that. Oh yeah, and by the way, it's Jonathan Mark. If y'all want to know, because I'm on my Khalid Muhammad shit right now. I swear to God, I'm on some hot boy shit right now. I don't give a fuck because this shit is wrong. It's wrong as fuck, and you can take it how you want to take it. So it is what it is, and I have no fear. I just have ambition, and the ambition is for us to rule again. For y'all to lose, it's time for y'all to lose. So I made it off like that. Oh yeah, we gonna get that my yacht straight up. So peace out, and hey, comment, uh, share it, make sure it goes viral, because this is what we need, man. This is the energy we need to be on. Oh yeah, and for the pandemic, this pandemic sucker shit. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. See, you see how how Sadiddy I just see this shit. So for the pandemic shit, Lunchbucket Joe and Kamala gonna try to re-shut down the country, and then Bill Gates is gonna try to push the forced vaccination for all of us, starting with the black people first. We need to be countering it and calling it out right now, and as we've been being consistent on it and calling them out and saying, hell no, we ain't taking none of your deadly ass vaccines. This is just a Tuskegee experiment 2.0. So that's just it, and that's it. And this is why we need to come together right now in order to counter their shit so we can have an economic base so we don't have to rely on their system in order for them to microchip us and get us with these deadly vaccinations whose side effects are going to be deadly. So while y'all doing the damn Millie Rock and the damn body yachty, the damn body yachty challenge and shit, while y'all doing that stupid ass shit. My God. Hey, bro. Hey, y'all niggas that's doing that shit, man. Damn, boy. Y'all need to tighten up, boy. For real. Y'all just need to tighten up. Y'all boys, come on, man. We need a man. It's Miss Man Up season, man. That body. I can't even. That shit's so lame to me, man. We gotta get this shit back, boy. We gotta get the hip hop game back, boy. This shit whack to me. But yeah, man. Y'all doing the damn body yachty challenge and shit while real rap is going on. Y'all are like, I don't know, man. Y'all look like minstrel show characters, man. This is just a modern day minstrel show on a 21st century platform. 21st century platform, basically, with a more sophisticated stage. Basically, now it's the internet and apps and shit to now show your buck dancing. Well, we need to get real shit done. Y'all need to be hitting y'all push-ups. Y'all need to be getting into the gun range. Y'all need to be getting y'all boxing game right. Y'all need to be hitting y'all jump rope game right. Getting y'all running cardio game right. You know, time to be doing that body yachty challenge, man. What the fuck y'all niggas doing? Man, hey, it's real nigga season, man. Real ass black men being gods and queens being queens, man. Which means black women being black women, being on some Sherzal Ali shit, being on some Coretta Scott King shit. Not trying to be on no the girl from the Shy shit. Not trying to pretend that you're I don't even know, trying to cosplay some shit, man. Nah, man. We need the traditional black family structure back. We don't need this inversion chaos era. Shit, the chaos is over. It's time we get back to the order. So that's it. I'm signing out. Jonathan Mark. Look for more videos. Check me out. Check out my page. Make sure this goes viral. And I appreciate you watching it. Even though it's been a little long and I've been on a tangent, but I just feel so passionate about it, as y'all could tell. So I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you.